Hey gang, welcome back. I hope everybody's having a good day. We finally got some rain here. I don't know, it's probably been 2 months since we've had any rain here. We had 1.5 inches about 45 minutes ago, and it's rained a little more since then, so I'm sure thankful for the rain. I'm going to bring you along with me today getting this boat back ready for the water. It's been parked for about 5-6 years. The last time I had it registered was 2019, and I didn't use it any that year, and that's why I quit registering it. So it's been at least 6 years. So we're going to see what we got to do to get it back in the water. A little bit of boat maintenance, I guess. And after we get through, we'll try to take it out on the water for a little while and see how it does. So y'all come along with me, and if you're new here, I'd like to ask you to hit the subscribe button. Y'all don't forget the thumbs up. I hope you enjoy the video. Best I can remember, I've done got these boats loosened up a little bit. I think I have to take this here off, and there's a connection in there like this that I have to take loose. And I think all this just drops down after that. This is not a how-to, but somebody that's got one of these might learn something from me here. Not because I know so much, but because I'm tearing into it. You might see something that'll help you in the future. There's what that looks like inside here. If you can see it in there. Let me see if I can get the... It's got 2 bolts in there, in that joint. I gotta take this lower one loose. Alright, I've got that, I hope, loose enough. I don't think I have to loosen the other one up. Now we're gonna take the rest of these bolts out. And I'm hoping that this will drop down then. I can't remember about the grease in here. I don't remember if I'll lose my grease or not. My oil that's in this part down here. I can't remember. It's been several years since I've done this. When I first bought this boat, well, not the boat, but when I first bought the motor, me and my buddy took this off and changed the water impeller in here. They're just plastic, and after they set a while, those little plastic fins on them will get shaped in one direction and get brittle. And that's the life of your motor, is keeping that water. That's what keeps it cool. You gotta keep it flowing. So it's not a very expensive fix. If nothing don't go wrong, I can fix it for probably $25. And I'd rather spend the extra $25 and know I've got a good water pump. We're gonna look at it. I mean, it may be perfectly fine after I see it, but this one here is a rough one to get out. There's 4 of them, and then there's one big one right here in the top. I done got it loose. This one right here is giving me a fit, though. It just will not turn by hand, and you can't get but about a 1/8 of a turn on it with this wrench. If I'd have known it, I'd have got my impact over here. My little air ratchet and done this. If I'd known it was going to be this hard, I thought it was going to be easy to come out. There, we finally got that. Now, this should come loose once. I may have to get something and take it apart right here a little better, because something's still holding it. Alright, after a few choice words, I got it off here. Right here is what we're wanting. I need to take these 3 screws loose. And that should come up off of there, and we should be able to see our water impeller in there then. To be such an old motor, everything still seems pretty tight on this. It was always a good motor when I was running it. It had a little bit of carburetor problems, but I had never seen very many outboard motors that didn't have some kind of carburetor problem. So let's take these off. We'll see what it looks like in there. I guess the carburetor, I'm gonna have to learn about it too. Either that or try to get my buddy out the road out here, Frog, to clean it for me. I'm gonna try to start it just to see, but I think I was having a little bit of carburetor problems with it when I parked it several years ago. It didn't want to idle, and I would like for it to idle. It's got an electric start on it, so it's not that hard to start usually. You know, when you're trying to idle in to load it on the trailer or something, it'll go dead. You just have to hit the start button and start it back up. It's not as bad as a pull cord, which it's got the pull cord option on it also, but I always had a battery on it and used it that way. All three of those same size. Now, if I can tease this up off of there. We should be able to see the water pump somewhere. I'm gonna wind up and drop it all right here. All right, right here's the part that was sitting there. I've got it up off the shaft now, but look in here. I hope that camera focus on that. That's a dirt dauber's nest in there. Actually, the water pump I don't think's in too bad a shape. But if we hadn't have took that off, this motor would have gotten runt for sure. That dirt dauber's nest had it fouled up in there. Alright, I got the water impeller out of there, and I think it's going to be in good shape. It's still really good and flexible. It's not wore hardly any. I didn't run it much after I put this in a few years ago, but it has been parked. And I've cleaned the dirt dauber's nest out. I still need to blow some air down through here, and then it should come out right in here somewhere. This is where it takes the water in to pull it up here to the impeller pump. Now right here on the motor, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. There's a little tube right here. It's hard for y'all to see it. That copper line that you see right there, right here, that takes the water up and around the heads and stuff on the motor, and then it spits it back out right here. I've already blown air up through there. I think that's how the dirt dauber got in, is he went through these holes right here. So if you have an outboard motor, or I guess any kind of motor like that, better keep a check on the dirt daubers getting in it, especially after you've had it parked a little while. Once I get that blowed through the foot, I'm going to put it all back together. I am going to order another water pump, but that one is going to be perfectly fine for right now. I'll blow some air through here and see if anything comes out up here on the upper side. I believe that's pretty well open in there. Alright, I'm going to put it back together. There isn't any kind of gasket that goes on this. So first, I'm going to slide the water pump over can see how it will turn inside there. Now, we're going to slide this cover over. I think I can turn this clockwise and push down on this all at the same time and get that impeller in there. Just like that. That should have it. We're ready to put this back together. I had to raise it back up. That little plate under there, I forgot about it. I had to line the holes up in that plate with these holes and with the holes in this part right here. So it was just a little bit of aggravation, but we've got it going our way now. All right, we've got to put a O-ring on the top of this shaft, and we'll be ready to put it back into the motor over there. Right here's the little O-ring. You had to remove that to slide this up off the shaft. And I'm going to put a drop of 3-in-1 oil on it. It's probably not necessary, but this thing right here has got 2 washers on it, rubber washers. So I'm going to put a little oil on those also. I've blowed through that. I've cleaned everything that I needed to clean. So maybe we're ready. All right, we've got us 2 batteries for our boat. We're getting a little bit closer to getting to the river. We dropped a pretty good chunk of change for them. These were $74 a piece at Walmart. And then I had 2 old batteries I carried back, so I got a $12 core on each one of them. Anyway, I got like $35 back out $200, so this fishing stuff is costing. Oh. But I didn't know no other way. I needed a trolling motor, and I needed a battery for the motor to start it. I could have pull started it, but it's so much easier pushing that button. This is the first time he's been on a boat. He'll be 9-year-old, won't you? This is his first boat trip. Our motor's not opening up. I'm gonna have to get Frog to look at it again, or I'll have to try to tear into the carburetor once. I think it's just not getting the fuel right. It's all idling real good. It's just that's wide open. And every now and then it'll kind of cough a little bit and it'll try to take off, but that's all it'll do. But we're gonna get to fish a little bit anyway. You having fun yet? We're gonna go about just a little bit further. Well, we figured out what was wrong with the boat, the reason that it wouldn't open up. I carried it out to Frogs and we put it in a barrel of water. And I'll show you here in just a second what it was. There's a little lever in there that keeps it from opening. When you start it in neutral, it won't let it open up wide open. You just got a little bit of throttle in neutral. Some kind of safety device, I reckon. The only thing we could figure out what that it was. But while we was out on the water, I didn't do much filming. I was out there for just a little while before my grandson came, and I caught these 2 fish. They're in the short form video. This one here, that's the smallest bass I think I've ever seen. That's a largemouth bass. And I think he's the smallest one that I've ever caught, I know. Well, this next one here is a gar. And I caught it on ultralight tackle. I think it was 4-pound test line. And I filmed it up to the point that I was going to have to get it over in the boat, and I didn't have my tripod with me. So I laid the phone down, and I was so afraid that I was going to lose my lure there. Well, I got him over in the boat. I couldn't pull the lure out of his mouth. So I went and got my needle nose pliers. And I come back, put my foot on him, fixing to unhook him with the needle nose pliers. And he shot out from under my foot and over the edge of the boat, cut the line, and the lure, the lure went with him. So even after getting him into the boat, I still lost my lure. So right here, it's trying to rain now. I won't keep this cover off long. Right here, this thing right here. I'll bring you over here closer so you can see what I'm talking about. This little black lever right here. I'm in neutral right now. And you watch this. When I put it in gear, this moves back. And that lets this come back further. That way you can get more throttle. And then when you go to neutral, it closes that up and your throttle won't work as much. Same way with reverse. When you go into reverse, you can get a little more throttle. Neutral, forward, back to neutral. And that seemed to fix it. We had it in a barrel and it blowed all the water out. I mean, it would open up big time there after we got that fixed. I took 2 washers out from under it and let it down some. It was hanging up on the top. I don't know if somebody in the past had put those washers in there. I used to have that same trouble, and I remembered it after we figured it out again. Of course, that's been 6-7 years ago. It would get hung, and when I was going down the river, I'd have to take the top off and move that little lever. So it's just something that I should have remembered, but I didn't. That's part of getting old, I reckon. But anyway, maybe the next video will be a little bit more fun on the river. But I thank y'all for watching. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.